The past two games, you guys have gotten the job done, but maybe the offensive line hasn't, melded as cohesively maybe as y'all thought. Just from your view, what has been the main issue there towards setting the run and getting everything straight?
Yeah, I think that, to be an effective offensive line, you have to play 5 as 1, any level of football, that's true. I think communication is probably our biggest thing right now. From Lenoris to Boaz and Boaz out. There were like 6 or 7 times that I saw in the game where we weren't really getting the calls, you know what I mean? And it was like, I would have to ask, it's loud, you know what I mean? Like sometimes the band's really loud and all this stuff, you can't really hear that much, but we really need to be on the same page, especially at home when we're not in a away atmosphere. But I think that today, especially, we worked on communication a lot. Lonnie's got a great game plan coming together. To let us play downhill and not have to think as much. I think we're going to do really well on Saturday with communication and everything else.
What's the backup plan if you can't hear a call?
Basically, I just walk up to Lenoris. I'm like, what's the play? You know what I mean? Like, I kind of just because, you have to get the play. You know what I mean? Because there's you can't just go out there and just do your own thing. That's not how college ball works or any level. But there's been some times, especially last year, where we're in, Bryant-Denny Stadium, and I can't hear anything. Or we're in Clemson, and I can't hear anything. I can barely hear the snap count. So we're getting a play, and Lenore's trying to go fast. He's saying it fast. I'm like, I don't think I heard that right. So I got to stop. Be like, hey, stop. What's the play? Ask Tro next to me. Tro's reliable. Boaz is reliable, guys like that. So especially last year with Torselli and Vershawn, all those guys, we were on the same page frequently. But, yeah, just stop, calm down, get the play, and then roll.
Hey, Cason and Miller, when you're watching the film and you're seeing the run game struggle to pick up big gains on yardage, when you look at the offensive line, do you see, is it you guys, not being able to create enough holes, or what are you kind of noticing about the struggles in the run game overall?
I think the biggest thing is there'll be 4 guys doing their job, 1 guy not, 3 guys doing their job, 2 guys not. It's stuff like that, and that all boils down to communication and using your technique the correct way. You know what I mean? Because it'll be, as I said, offensive line is a 5 as 1 kind of game. And, when we're playing 4 guys who are doing the right thing, 1 guy's maybe doesn't know his assignment or is just messing up or losing on technique. You'll get guys in their gaps, and you can't make holes like that. So, when we play 5 as 1, we got everybody doing their job. That's when the run game really starts to roll. So that's what we're harping on a lot this week.
You mentioned the communication when it comes to just getting the play out there, but there's a lot of communication within the play itself, especially when teams are twisting and stunning and things like that. What kind of goes into that offensive line communication when you're in the game, in the play, and having to make sure that you coordinate to keep the pocket clean?
Yeah, so we our kind of philosophy is called RCE, which is recognize, communicate, and execute. So, when we see stunts or anything, we get a stunt cue. We get linebackers, different depths, anything we see like that, like a different technique or anything like that, or even front that might tell us these guys are going to twist or whatever. There's a lot that goes into that. But, we're supposed to recognize it, communicate it with the guys, especially if I'm getting like a nickel off the edge. We got to go communicate that to all my other guys. We got to make a call, and we got to execute. You know what I mean? So even in within the play, you make a go call if you're getting a T stunt or whatever, and you're on the man side. There's a bunch of stuff that goes into inner play communication, but the only thing that you can do to practice that is to rep it. You know what I mean? You have to do it in practice. You have to go over and over. You have to mess up. You have to fix it. You know what I mean? It takes a long time. That's why preseason's so long. That's why we practice so hard, is because offensive line is such a hard position to play.
Oscar's touchdown in the third quarter, that was the first running back touchdown of the season so far. Did that do anything for the confidence of the O-line as a unit?
Yeah, I was ecstatic to see Oscar score. I mean, I love Oscar. He's a great back, and he's a great guy. He's a great leader for our team. But seeing him get in the end zone right in front of our student section, I thought it was awesome. But yeah, I mean, when we are struggling in the first couple quarters and stuff like that against SC State, we're sitting in the locker room, we're like, we need to get it together, like at halftime, you know what I mean? And to come out and do our thing and be able to run the ball and then score on a running touchdown, it was like, all right, we got this, we're good, we're in the groove, we're rolling. So, I mean, it was a big confidence boost for all the guys, and then we were able to kind of settle in, kind of get the nerves out a little bit, settle in, and then continue to run the ball.
You've been around here for a while. How are you finding the balance between, I guess, accountability and encouragement, especially with some issues that kind of need to be fixed within days and sometimes, in game?
Yeah, I think that that's kind of comes down to like a leadership question. Is you kind of have to know how to lead your guys because everybody is their own individual. Some guys respond better to criticism. Some guys respond better to encouragement. I know. So Lonnie does a really good job with that with us. He knows how to coach each and every guy. But I'd say encouragement is probably the way to go with our guys. Show us show us on tape what we did wrong. Be like, hey, you know how to fix this. You can berate us a little bit, but we eventually need to get out of the practice field, be encouraged, and then execute. You know what I mean? That's the only way you fix issues is to have the confidence instilled in you that you can do it, and then go out and do it. You know what I mean? And then on game day, it's second nature.
Two-parter for you. One, you talked about the confidence and what that did with the Oscars touchdown, the blocking on that play. What did you think of the blocking on the touchdown to Dre? And then Shane was talking yesterday Sunday about trying to build a pocket for Lenoir. What do you guys have to do better on your end to make sure that he has that time to throw?
Yeah, I thought the protection was really good on the touchdown to Dre. When we do any play action stuff like that, those are some of my favorite plays. I think that our pockets are best in like play action stuff. But with drop back passing stuff, it comes back to repetition. You know what I mean? Like we have, we're going to work third down. We're going to do all that this week. We're going to work set integrity. We're going to do all that with Lonnie. And I think that offensive line is a position where you just need to keep going up like this every week. And I think that we need to take a big step this week in protection and in the run game to be effective on Saturday.
Cason, has Lonnie had to switch or tweak his coaching style with you guys over the past couple of weeks? Is he emphasizing one more thing, de-emphasizing something?
I think that he does a good job of that, but it's about like what issues he sees on game day, and then he'll focus on those during practice or anything like that. Like he's not going to overcoach something that we're doing really well. Do you know what I mean? But like preseason, he's harping on everything. You know what I mean? So it'll vary after a few games. Like he'll see, maybe our tight zone combos aren't as good as they should be. So he'll change up his coaching style on that, and we'll focus more on that. Or our pass pro isn't where it should be in twist game. So, we'll do more of that in practice, stuff like that. But he's not going to overcoach the stuff that we're doing really well at. He's going to break down the film and then really harp on stuff that we need to work on. But he sees in film, and all of his staff tells him.
Hey, Cason, two little things. First of all, is that a special post-practice drink? What's in the drink?
This shout out to Yimmy, our nutritionist for this. It's just I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know. It's like I know it's protein, I know it's carbohydrates. That's all I need to know. You know what I mean?
Okay, and the other thing is you guys ran about 56 plays, I think, on Saturday offensively.
Something like that, yeah.
Physically, when you wake up the next day, can you feel the difference between we only ran 56 versus 76?
I think that Saturday was a special case because we got off the field at 1 a.m. And I don't think anybody slept quite as good as they should have after the game because everybody's like amped up from the game, and you got to kind of like settle down to try to go to bed. But you wake up the next day, and it definitely feels like you definitely feel a difference between when you play 80 plays or 85 or 90 plays between 50 plays, of course. It's like doing 3 squats instead of 12 and you're set. You know what I mean? Like it's just, you're not going to feel it the same the next day. But I think dudes were still banged up, I mean, it happens every week. It's just how things go. There's bumps and bruises. So, but we got Monday off, and we had actually a really good practice today. So I'm pretty excited about this week. Yeah. Awesome. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. Yep.